what happens. In the top right, we have the red Protoss player repping a little Root Gaming. He is KingCobra.
And he is going to duke it out with this man, a young Protoss player from Germany. This is the Blue Protoss ForJumy. Blue Protoss, Blue Room. He's ready, Nick.
Look, he's getting in the zone. I like to think people ask, like, well, lore-wise, what does it mean to play StarCraft? What role does the player have? You know, Roddy, I fantasize about controlling my units from the deck, you know, from the cockpit of a battlecruiser. I like to think I'm on the bridge. Horner's over there telling me not to yeet my units in. For KingCobra or for ForJumy, well, especially for ForJumy, he's straight up. He's on the Spear of Adun, sending commands directly down. He's in full role play mode, and that's what we love to see.
Yep. Even if KingCobra goes for pylon gateway on the high ground, that doesn't mean that he's going to drop a second gate. This is actually one of his default openings where he will just still go one gate fast expand, but he just finds it a bit easier to play it with one gate on the high ground. And it's very tempting to then think, can't I just attack him? Because the doors are wide open. I don't have to worry about a wall off. But that's exactly what he wants. That's what he practices time and time again. So you can't really do that kind of stuff. I also really love what Wadi said. Like, getting nervous or too nervous is obviously never a great thing, but especially against a player like KingCobra, you have to be damn certain of whatever approach you want to take, because being indecisive is absolutely going to kill you. Because this man, he plays in his own unique, weird way, but he does it more than anybody else out there. So he's got a ton of experience, and you just can't give him a lead because he will not let go of the lead.
Yeah, and typically when you play these types of styles, you're gonna run into, oh, there's the Cyber Core in the natural of ForJumy. So yeah, definitely a fun one to see. But it's exactly that, is when you play these styles, you're usually going up against people that are doing normal strategies. So you kind of know how to abuse and punish people who don't really have that familiarity against that style. And I can't agree with you and Wardy any more than that. You don't want to get too inside your own head thinking about what your opponent is going to do, because that's usually how they knock you off balance without even needing to do anything crazy.
And I don't hate this start as he lets the Cybernetics core finish up, because if this turns into Phoenix against Phoenix, that is actually something that KingCobra is very good at. But KingCobra is now showing us that he actually wants to go for a 3-gate all-in, maybe 3-gate Phoenix all-in, as he already has a second gateway going up at home, and he will probably build a third gateway. Jumy needs to pick up on this ASAP. If he makes an Oracle and he flies into the Phoenixes of KingCobra, he is actually in so much trouble. But he's going to go Phoenix himself. That is a much better scenario. But the only thing that's still very important, though, is that Jumy picks up on the fact that KingCobra has not expanded yet, and KingCobra is actually 4-gate Phoenixing him. And at that point, it's a lot more about the 4-gate than it is about the Phoenix, and Jumy is expanding, Nate. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of units coming up into that front door pretty quickly. And we know that as good as the shield batteries are for defense, you get a lot of stalkers. You know, you've got armored versus armored. You can burst through that pretty hard. So coming straight out is ForJumy. And if he can get a couple of picks, start to slow this down, hopefully the air unit maybe sees what's being built outside of his base. He still does not know about those gates, but hey, there's a pylon right at the bottom of your ramp. So you should be expecting something.
Yeah, and that's why I'm surprised I don't see... Okay, we do have another battery, and we could potentially even get one more. So Jumy definitely has the right approach, but he needs to stay close to these batteries, because that Phoenix of KingCobra could lift the Stalker, and every Stalker is so freaking important. Jumy has gone up to 29 probes, but that's kind of all it is. KingCobra is now building an offensive battery, but this kind of stuff is not that great anymore, because batteries that spawn away from your own nexus only start with half HP, and that's when you just drain them very quickly. I would say so far so good for Jumy, especially because he's not underdoing it when it comes to the batteries. If anything, he's overdoing it, but it's better to be safe than sorry when you know your opponent is super all-in and you're going up to 2 bases. All you need to do is survive, weather this storm, and if you do that, you'll be fine.
Yeah, he's got the natural, so the only thing he needs to do is just not die. Cobra, I mean, you can see that he's not expanding, so Phoenix are going to come out. It's going to take a little bit of a trade here, and like you were mentioning, Kev, that battery that was built offensively does get drained very quickly, but the Phoenix count is starting to tilt in favor of KingCobra.
Yeah, but battery overcharge is so freaking good when the unit DPS is not very high. And the first part of that fight actually went very good for KingCobra because he killed 2 Phoenixes, lost nothing, but then he really stuck around a bit too long against the battery overcharge. You just don't have the DPS to one-shot units. You don't have that burst damage, and that's very bad, Niels, because now it's only going to get worse and worse. Jumy is going to be able to warp in Stalkers for days, can still reinforce with his own Phoenixes, and unless... yeah, no, that's fine. Unless the Stalkers would have enough numbers to one-shot units, Jumy is going to be totally fine here, and he's even getting a bit adventurous now going far away from his batteries, but he's in a great spot. I think the young German Protoss has pretty much done it, Nate. KingCobra needs to end this game. He's not going to end the game. Even misfired there, shot at the Cybernetics store. And Jumy, with an excellent response to the 4-gate Phoenix all-in, gets the 1-0 lead. He handled that really well, man. He stayed calm, composed. I think there was one moment where he went a bit too far away from his batteries, and he actually lost his Phoenixes. But KingCobra threw it when he stuck around against battery overcharge. You just can't do that.
Yeah, was not going to I'm not going to win the trade in that situation, and we go to game 2. But hey, talk about that though. We were seeing you're up against someone who's going to do something crazy. You don't know if it's going to be that cannon rush. You don't know if it's going to be the 4-gate, which is kind of what it ended up being with the Phoenix support. And he got Cybercore blocked too. So there's an interesting side of that where you delay the Nexus. I don't know, the economy of building it anyway kind of adds up before that attack comes. But the 5, 6, whatever shield batteries it was, plenty to hold. And I think the other crucial part that you mentioned, overcharge or not, is that you just don't have the energy. You don't even start with the full energy on the battery if you build it out like that. So you've got 5 full energy shield batteries versus 1/2. And yeah, no, that was not going to be enough.
A build like that needs to hit as a surprise, and it wasn't too much of a surprise because that one adept of Jumy was key. The fact that that one adept makes it to the other side of the map and is like, hey, you're not expanding. And if you're not expanding, that means you're probably doing something very weird on one base. And at that point, you can just go ham on the defensive batteries. And that's exactly what Jumy did. Once more, one moment went a bit too far forward, then had a kind of an ugly start to the fight with the Phoenix against Phoenix. But the overcharge is what really turned that battle on. The fact that Jumy just played it safe when it came up to going up to 4, 5, 6 batteries rather than being stubborn and going for like 1 battery or maybe 2 batteries, because those can get drained, but you're not going to drain 6 batteries. So that gave him a very convincing victory in the end, and we have now loaded into data C. In the bottom left side, we're looking at the main base of the Russian Protoss. He's down 0-1. Will it be motherships or will it be cannons? We're going to find out. This is Root Gaming's KingCobra.
And his opponent weathering the storm after that wild first map. Let's see if he can keep it up and stay alive. He's ForJumy. I won't lie, Kev. I was kind of hoping it would be a Forge. Anytime someone says we might get a cannon rush on the mainstream, that's something that's going to get me excited. But I can kind of understand it. You know, there certainly has to be a bit of anticipation on ForJumy's side. It's a strategy that is typically a lot easier to deal with if you think it might happen. So not unreasonable for him to take it another way.
Yep, Jumy is obviously very well aware of the reputation that KingCobra has built for himself. So once more, it's going to be Pylon Gateway on the low ground for Jumy and Pylon Gateway on the high ground for KingCobra. Since KingCobra already tried to get cheeky with that 4-gate Phoenix 1 base all in, I expect him this game to not do anything among those lines. And he's just going to play Stargate defensively. I would not recommend Jumy to try and get the best of KingCobra in a all-out Phoenix battle, because he is incredibly good at that stuff, man. He knows when to transition. He knows when to go carriers. He knows where to position the units. I have the feeling that that's the kind of game you want to avoid, because winning those kinds of PvPs just requires completely different skill than it does to win. You know, you go Twilight, I go Twilight, and we're going to blink Stalker and upgrade and that kind of stuff. It's just a completely different ball game. And when it comes to pure air battles in PvP, KingCobra probably is one of Europe's very best.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the fun things about it too, is that it is a completely different play style, right? And the snowball effect of the Phoenix, and if you lose one of those fights, then you oftentimes pretty much dead. But I think it's even doubly so when you talk about how KingCobra wants to go Stargate late game anyway. So if you can force that situation, then that's where he wants to be. And there's the cybernetics core block again. There is also the Stargate being built back home for KingCobra, and now Stargate as well in response here from ForJumy. So very similar setups from both of our players.
Yep. Probably different openings this time around. The last game it was Phoenix. That's actually quite unusual this day and age. You most of the time see Oracle versus Oracle, and sometimes you still see Oracle Phoenix, and that should be great for the Phoenix player. But the Oracle players just got so much smarter in how to use their Oracles, how to reveal them, and how to transition out of it. Now the thing is, Jumy is never gonna go. KingCobra will never go Oracle into Blink. This is not something he does. So for him, it will most likely be Phoenix. But what will it be for ForJumy? That's kind of the real question.
Yeah, shield battery block up top for the Adept of ForJumy, keeping him out. And KingCobra is going to go Oracle, and ForJumy will be the one opening with the Phoenix. So what do we make of this, Roddy?
That is very interesting, because KingCobra's follow-up is a robot that's already revealed. So Jumy could absolutely double down. Jumy canceled his Phoenix. No, never mind. It just popped. Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised by this. KingCobra is just going to probably rally the Oracle to the other side of the map then. Jumy has a much later expand because of that pylon block, the cybernetics core block. And that first Oracle will fly straight into a Phoenix. I mean, this is honestly just a very good start for Jumy, because now that Oracle is at home as well, and that's exactly where you wanted Oracle to be. One Adept is going to make it into the main base, but the Oracle is going to take care of it. It's kind of a random fight.
So scrappy. I mean, that little gateway battle to keep him occupied, even with the shield battery at the front, is one thing, but the battery and the stalkers are also here to support the Oracle against the Phoenix. And there you go. There's the overcharge. Does not want to give anything up to these Phoenix early on, and ForJumy has been continuing to build them so far. He just finished another one. There we go, booting up more. And KingCobra is going to start to build a Phoenix. But isn't this... So how does this play out then because I know if they both keep building them, and okay, there it goes. ForJumy's going to build another Stargate and KingCobra. All right, Roddy, take it away. You know about these situations way better than me.
Yeah, and normally I really love KingCobra and Phoenix battles, but now he's just kind of behind, man. He's full Phoenix behind, almost 2 Phoenixes behind, and then we have to take into consideration that Jumy was building probes non-stop while applying that Adept Stalker Phoenix pressure, and KingCobra was respecting it, so he kind of stopped building works for a split second. KingCobra now feels that this is a fight he can take because his Phoenixes are healthier, but he needs to be careful. He gets in range. If he gets one kill, that'd be big. The Oracle on the other side of the map has activated Pulsar Beam, but won't be able to get a whole lot done. KingCobra is building an Immortal, which is absolutely bananas to me, because I'm pretty certain...
Isn't this a Phoenix battle? Isn't that what this went into?
He scouts double Stargate Phoenix, and he builds an Immortal. Like, I know the Stalker count is still up there, and maybe that's why he's kind of worried about losing the ground fight in a very one-sided manner, but the man must be swimming in gas if he feels that he can afford an Immortal here.
A very funky game we've gotten ourselves into. That observer sieged up in the main, sees everything. He knows 100%. Yep, double Stargate. Not a hard guess here, but ForJumy's going to come in, grab another probe, and dip out. Has a pylon blocking the third base, has a probe blocking the other third base. So ForJumy feels like he can expand a little bit more safely, and KingCobra says, I'm going to get that fleet beacon up.
Yep, and that is the power of the Observer. The Observer is actually super useful in these Phoenix battles, as Jumy is going to make a lunge for the natural. He can lift that Immortal, and if you lift the Immortal, battery overcharge has been activated though, and that's a big moment for KingCobra. Kills a Phoenix, saves his Immortal, but his Observer will give him all the information in the world on the timing of a fleet beacon of Jumy. KingCobra has already built his beacon. He feels that even if he's down in units, he can get away with it because of all the defensive batteries, and that is a correct call. He's going to fire up any impulse crystals before the fleet beacon has even been built on the other side of the map. And KingCobra's Observer sees the timing of this beacon, and that's actually going to give him a lot of information on knowing when to fight. As we have another Phoenix battle, Jumy has the numbers, but KingCobra has the potential to run back to a battery, and Guardian Shield is very big here as well. As we have a bit of a trade, KingCobra is down for Phoenix, but it's actually not that bad if he has much quicker range, which he does. But now the most important thing for KingCobra, though, Nate, is that he pushes as soon as he has any impulse crystals. Even if you're down 5 Phoenix, it doesn't matter. He needs to get in range of the Phoenixes of Jumy. If he doesn't do that, he's going to lose this game.
Yeah, a very tense situation because you're talking about the numbers. And of course, if the Phoenix outrange, you can do a lot of work there, but you need to make sure that the stalkers on the ground aren't assisting. And it does take a lot of the attention, a lot of the focus will be put on the micro to do that, because even with the range, you know, if the Phoenix have the same speed and they attack while moving, you still don't want to let ForJumy get too close to you. The Guardian Shield gets popped though, and he brings everything else down. So he will be able to dislodge this position. But at the same time, Roddy, I mean, you already pointed it out, and he's going to start his +1 Protoss Air Armor. But ForJumy's got a third base already mining, so the extra gas geysers this much further ahead of KingCobra should allow him to maintain a great economy. And as I say that, he goes in and rips and tears through 10 probes in the main.
Yep, I am really surprised that KingCobra let Jumy off the hook there. When he had a bit of a fight, even if he has less numbers, you cannot disengage when you have such a big advantage on range. And he literally saw when the fleet beacon got warped in, because now just not enough has happened. If anything, it just got even worse for him, because he lost those 2 extra probes. No, KingCobra is just not capitalizing on the little advantage he had. And it seems that his way of potentially still winning this game is just going to be turtle incredibly hard. And no matter how far behind we are, we're going to try to win this game, yeah, with nothing but SkyToss units. But I think he really dropped the ball there. That is a moment, that is your opportunity. No matter how many workers you're behind, no matter how many Phoenix you're behind, if you've got a solid 60 seconds where you have range and your opponent does it, that's where you want to go pedal to the metal and always stay in range. The start was good, but then he backed off, and I think he missed his opportunity to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, ForJumy's going to have that economic prosperity. 4th base is coming in, still has the block over here, can reinforce, but it is kind of funky. You weren't kidding, Roddy. Straight to that mothership as soon as he could. As soon as it was a viable option for him, he was there. And the +1 armor is, I mean, it's nice to have for the durability side. It will make the mothership quite a bit more tanky against Phoenix, which I don't know that I've ever actually said those words before in that order. But again, the mothership, I guess, can tank for the Phoenix. There's not that dedicated detection or vision available, because he would have to go back into either the Oracle or get the robotics facility for an observer. And I don't think that ForJumy has any of that. He just has 5 Stargates, which KingCobra knows about because he's got the observer over all of them.
Yep, I mean, Jumy knows that he's got a much bigger Phoenix number, and he's willing to fight, even in range of a battery overcharge, even in range of a Guardian Shield at this point. This seems reckless, but when you have 9 Phoenix more, yeah, you can get away with it, especially when your opponent also invested in a mothership. Once the mothership shows up, that's where you want to disengage, because it's impossible to kill a mothership with air armor as well, I guess.
+1 armor mothership timing.
And overcharge, yeah, this is not something you're going to kill. So obviously a good moment to disengage there by Jumy. But I really think Jumy has played a magnificent game. He has not been second guessing himself. He's been very decisive. And KingCobra has just been, yeah, I know that his strength is in the defensive play, but I think in this game he's been overly defensive. You've got that ops, it's giving you all the information in the world. You knew you had a window, and that is a window where you had to make something of it, because he's been a solid 20 workers behind for the last 5 minutes. If you show the income advantage, that graph is almost entirely blue. And yeah, if you're making the same unit, Nate, that's a very bad position to be in.
Yeah, Phoenix come in once again, too, getting into the economy. And he focuses down a lot of the probes on the geysers as well, making sure that the production for these big air units isn't on the table. Actually, 2 carriers are going to pop right in front of him, but there is that mothership given the cloak. And I mean, that's like the most interesting part about this is ForJumy has the numbers advantage. We've seen these Phoenix just rip and tear and bully, but you need to have that detection. And even the Oracle Revelation is only going to give you so much time to see those units. So if he gets the tag and wants to make a move, he won't have a lot of time to decide if that's going to be the play.
We do have one Oracle that's super full on HP that's now going to activate Pulsar Beam on the other side of the map. It's going to kill a couple of workers, but Jumy is doing nothing but killing workers. He's trying to get a carrier there, though. That's going to get cloaked and saved by a battery overcharge. And that Oracle of KingCobra is actually finding a decent amount of success. That is 10 workers going down. It has been chilling in the bottom right side for the last 4 or 5 minutes and actually gets out of there. KingCobra knows that Jumy is also going carriers. Army supply, it's still somewhat competitive. This game doesn't feel competitive because KingCobra has lost 45 probes in a 13-minute PvP where he's already mining less. But if he just grows that army supply a little bit more, and it does turn into an all-out sky toss battle no matter how far he's behind. He's really good in this kind of stuff, like awkwardly, scarily good in these weird battles.
It just so happens to be that one situation where he's just generally going to be favored on the control of those units, right? And even though he's lost all these probes, there's something very interesting, Kev, because the Phoenix come in, they're gonna keep murdering probes all game. That's going to be something we just get to see over and over. But KingCobra has lost about 4,000 less resources than ForJumy. So ForJumy has all these extra bases. He's doing all of this damage, but all of the things he's killing are primarily just the probes, and he's lost a little bit more to make that happen. So I think that's why he's had such a big army supply still.
Oh man, these Phoenixes, they were chasing the Oracle, they turned around, then they still went for it, but now they are in a very awkward spot as Yuumi shows up with all of his Phoenix, and it turns out that 15 Phoenix are way better than 5. So things just go from bad to worse for KingCobra as he kills an Oracle but loses 5 Phoenixes. And now it really does feel that he's just like, all right, man, 3 bases. That's all I'm going to get. I am probably going to lose a few more probes here and there, but I'm just going to try to max out one time and one time only on a mothership carrier, maybe a couple Tempests down the line. And if he gets close to maxing out, though, Nate, there is a problem for Yuumi, and that is that he's got 40 workers more, which means he's going to get way less army. And there is a chance that he doesn't just lose a fight, but that he loses it in an incredibly one-sided manner. It shouldn't happen. This is definitely Yuumi's game, as Yuumi has 3 more carriers too, but he does need to respect battery overcharge still.
Yeah, definitely. There's the Oracle Revelation tag and trying to decide, okay, what is the play? What's the move? As the upgrade situation is also kind of funky. KingCobra has his shields. He obviously had that armor upgrade very fast, so he is ahead in that straight up fight. And I think that's what can make it so deceiving, because you think to yourself, and this is a great way to throw a game. So ForJumy needs to make sure that he has a couple of contingency plans if he tries to force it and it doesn't work, because those upgrades with the shield batteries, with the mothership cloak defensively, you know, that's just such a hard position to attack into, no matter how far ahead you are.
I personally think that it would have been easier for Yuumi to win this game by going into Tempest. Like, Tempests are cheaper, they build quicker, and he could have just shown up with Phoenix Tempest. You show up with like 10 Tempests, you just right click on these units, and even battery overcharge won't always save the units there. A carrier battle is one way that you can still lose. Battery overcharge gets activated, gets picked up, and Yuumi may feel that this is the fight for him to take, as there is no battery to worry about. He's got way more carriers. This is normally where KingCobra shines, though. He has shined here so many times. Can he do it one more time as we're right clicking carriers down red light? Left, right, and center. And KingCobra is actually winning this fight day. Don't ask me how. He just does it. He's the best.
Look, the top 3 carrier control in Europe. And guess what? The 2-stalker single immortal counterattack. Popping that expansion on the north side. Nothing there to save this base for ForJumy. So not only dumpstering the army, but dumpstering the expansion.
I can't believe that 2 stalkers and an immortal just killed the Nexus 17 minutes into a game. Now Yuumi is going to make Tempest, but I'm almost afraid that now it could be a little bit too late. KingCobra is like technically still behind, but I don't think he's all that worried anymore. He's like, man, that was really good. I can do that again and again. These fights are so bizarre. It's just something you don't practice a whole lot. And yeah, technically the idea is always kill the carriers, but I don't know, man. There's something that KingCobra knows that the rest of the world has yet to figure out, because he's really good in carrier battles.
Yeah, and the thing is, the carriers also just scale so well off the upgrades. He's got +3 armor, +2 air attack. ForJumy, he only has +1. So just +1 armor and just +2 attack. So those 2 upgrade differences for the armor, when it comes to carriers, that is a huge gap. So it makes it incredibly deceiving. And then, you know, you add in defender's advantage and it gets a whole lot more awkward. So this is how you do it. And KingCobra building up that 1-punch army, where at some point, maybe he moves out. He may not even need to if ForJumy keeps diving into him. But this needs to be that wake up moment for ForJumy, where he's like, wait, I can lose this game. This is not by any means over, despite the fact that I have many more bases than my opponent, because, you know, he might be in a good spot, but he's playing KingCobra's game now.
You mentioned the 4,000 resources that Yuumi lost earlier. He has now lost 12,000 resources more. That's a lot. And KingCobra has now got his hands on 4 bases. The one thing that Yuumi does have, though, is a mothership. And motherships are very good because they just have so much HP, and they already have a lot of armor. Interceptors attack twice. So there is a good chance that maybe with the mothership we can be fine. If I was Yuumi, I would absolutely not send it without the mothership. Even if you have a couple of Tempests, the man is very good in getting his interceptors in range on top of your Tempest. And I have seen many Mighty Prowess players fall trying to get KingCobra out of a game. Yeah, Yuumi should really... Okay, I like this idea of like getting this base and going for a bit of contain. Also donating a few workers so we can get more Skytoss units. But we have to wait for our mothership, man. That thing is too expensive, takes up too much supply, and is way too tanky to fight without it.
What a crazy game we've gotten ourselves into. And I you know what? My favorite part now, Roddy, is that ForJumy has that whole base going up right outside of KingCobra's base. He's like, if this is how it's going to be, I want to see that Neeb-esque crawl. Just build a field of I wanted to say spores and spines because I've been traumatized, but it's going to be cannons and batteries encroaching on cannons and batteries.
Yep, that is big, for sure. Especially KingCobra doesn't know about it yet. Like, he sees a pile and he may expect a few, but he doesn't know about all these static defenses. Yuumi has to be a little bit careful that he doesn't burn his entire bank. The Tempest count is 7 against 7. The carrier count is 13 to 11 in favor of KingCobra, and he actually has made it to being maxed out in a game, man. And he's now moving out. I think he's willing to give up on this base. He's going to take the top left base. This is now a game, like, I'm very worried for Yuumi. Because I don't see KingCobra lose carrier battles. Like, it's weird, but he just doesn't lose them very often.
He did have the watchtower, though. He sees all the carriers that are now moving towards the north side. So this is the moment for ForJumy. I think in a base trade, ForJumy simply has more bases to give up, right? Like the salamander leaving its tail behind, gets the mothership. So I think if he can push through, this is where you want to do as much damage as humanly possible if you're ForJumy, because it will take a much longer time for KingCobra to kill your stuff.
Sweet Tempest micro, though. Very, very sweet Tempest micro. And I don't know, because right now, if you're Yuumi, you can't really recall. If you recall, your interceptors are still inside of the carriers. I don't hate this for KingCobra. The Tempest micro has been very sweet. He's now starting to take down a couple of the carriers. And if Yuumi recalls, he's going to get absolutely obliterated. I mean, it started off promising for Yuumi, but I actually think KingCobra is starting to do this, Nate. I don't see these Tempests falling anytime soon, and I don't see Yuumi ever cleaning up that army on the other side of the map. It's unbelievable, but KingCobra is weird. He is going for the recall, but where is he recalling to? He's going into the main base. The cybernetics core, by the way, no +3 armor, perhaps. As KingCobra just wants to take this fight. All of his interceptors are out. There is a mothership. It's tanky. Take it away, Nate.
He has the Guardian Shield too. KingCobra somehow has the Sentry with the army, giving that boost to win this fight. And the carrier versus carrier action is too much for ForJumy. KingCobra. Oh man, this is like the greatest example of all time of a player who has, you know, it's like that practice the one kick 1,000 times. He's like, yeah, only thing I need to do is drag you down to my level and beat you with experience. And that is exactly what KingCobra did. He's like, you know, maybe it'll be hard for me to win if this is a gateway based game. Maybe it'll be tough if we go Blinks, Disruptor, blah, blah, blah. But all I need to do is let you underestimate me because you have more money. And then you'll give me all the time that I need to win this. And that's what happened. Kind of amazing to watch, honestly. It's like, I don't know what the birth of a star looks like, but that might've been the closest that our human eyes can witness.
In the end, KingCobra lost 18,000 resources in that game. ForJumy lost 44,000. Like, the man does this so often. He gets outmined. His opponents get the entire map. But if he gets close to maxing out on that kind of an army, he's so freaking good, man. Like, even Max Specs and Showtime are going to struggle with KingCobra in those fights. I can guarantee you that. He's freakishly good at it. And I got to give him absolute massive kudos for the way that he microed those Tempests at home. He moved out. Yuumi indeed saw that move out. And Yuumi thought, and I can't even blame him for it, this is the moment where I should just fight these Tempests, because if I take out the Tempests by themselves, then I'm going to be fine. And he gets a few, But then KingCobra micros back very wisely towards his batteries, and he picks off a Tempest, he picks off another Tempest, and at that point he had the Tempest lead. He's also reinforcing the defensive Tempest with more Tempest, and the moment that the Tempests of Jumy are gone, the carriers are sitting ducks, and you're just like, should I go, should I not go? But you can never get too close to them. KingCobra micro that incredibly well, and it's honestly a miraculous victory because he was so far behind, but I think that first attack with the carriers was a turning point, man. Like, don't make carriers against this dude. He's too damn good against them, and he's too damn good with them, tying things up. And if he wins here, he's got a 3-2 record, and he could absolutely dream of making it into the playoffs, and that would be the first time of his career. This is the Protoss representing Root Gaming, KingCobra.
Oh, it's amazing. What a series we've had here. In the bottom left, the blue Protoss player. He is ForJumy. That's Berserker Esports. And man, Roddy, this I love the picture you painted at the start of the last game, and then the fact that we actually got there is just so miraculous. And it's another wonderful reminder that sometimes in StarCraft, it is still a strategy game. You can be behind economically. You don't have to have all of the flashiest micro or even do all that damage at the start. If you have a good enough game plan that you can stick to and anticipate what the knee-jerk reaction may be to what you're doing, you can still outsmart somebody and cause them to give up all those advantages and effectively not to say throw the game, but accidentally walk into that trap. That's really what that strategy feels like. Is KingCobra's lured him into that false sense of security, and it just awesome to see. Really, really fun game. And I don't know that we're gonna get as crazy this time. Let's not forget the first map was still that 4-gate proxy, so it could be wild and aggressive early on here.
Yeah, Jumy was definitely outplaying KingCobra for the first 10-11 minutes of that game. He got himself into a phenomenal spot. He was having successful drive-by after drive-by with these Phoenixes. It's just, I really think when you have such a monstrous economy, you're on 5 Stargates, and KingCobra is clearly turtling ultra hard on 3 bases. Going Tempest, like Phoenix into Tempest, would actually be better. Because even if you have a bad fight, you'll take out a lot of very expensive units, those carriers, the mothership, and KingCobra with his 3-base economy cannot easily replace those. But if you go carriers, there is such a thing as not just a bad fight, but an absolutely horrendous fight, where you almost kill nothing. And that is exactly what happened when it was carrier Phoenix versus carrier mothership, and yeah, I guess that's kind of what it was. The Tempest would have always killed 5-6 carriers, and even if you then lose the fight with your superior economy, you're going to be fine. But with carriers, it can just really snowball, and it can allow KingCobra to max out. It can allow him to get 4 bases. And if that man ever gets up to 4 bases, Nate, there is not a man on this planet that's going to stop him.
Yeah, that's one of the funky things, especially because it's usually a lot of mineral-heavy units, and I think that this is something that is easy to miss when you're playing or just watching StarCraft. But when you kill a lot of those workers, you're like, well, how does that not stop him from getting all of that? If your strategy is based around units that are really gas heavy and take a long time to build, you can do it on very low mineral income, because the build time for the carriers is not that short. So all you need to have is usually just enough gas to start them, usually not mineral blocked. So if all you're going to do is just kill the probes, that's the easiest thing to be replaced, strangely enough, because you don't need to have this overwhelming mineral income to get the army that you want. And not something that comes up a lot, but great pickup here. Grabs the stalker of KingCobra, and ForJumy getting a little bit of blood drawn early on.
Yep, obviously nice little exchange, but I don't think that's good enough to not necessarily run in range of batteries. KingCobra has a much, much, much quicker Nexus, also has the Phoenix lead, and that means that Jumy is just in a tiny bit of trouble. He's gonna try, and if we can get 4 or 5 probes here if we're Jumy, then obviously we are more than happy. Some people may panic. KingCobra forgot Warp Gate. Oh no, guys, he did not forget Warp Gate. This man never planned on getting Warp Gate here, because all he wants to do is make Phoenixes, maybe some Immortals if he thinks it's necessary. But if his opponent is gonna make more Phoenixes, then he will just make more Phoenix too, and this is a very important fight, as KingCobra got close to killing a Phoenix there. What Yumi does do very well with these little pokes is that it almost feels that KingCobra overreacts a little bit, and he is so afraid to build workers that it allows Yumi to get a little bit of a worker lead. So definitely a successful poke, but I in a weird way, I still kind of like this for KingCobra because he's finding himself 6 minutes into a game where we have even Phoenix counts, and this is where the man is an absolute beast. The only advantage for Yumi, though, is that Yumi already went double Stargate, and KingCobra, I think, is expecting Yumi to go blink Stalkers, and now scouting that pylon in the middle of the map is going to make him even more convinced that this is a blink Stalker game, but it's not, Nate. This is actually really sick for Yumi.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of Phoenix trying to give him a taste of his own medicine a little bit, and the potential for this to deal serious damage is there, but this is also, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I feel like this could be a little bit part of KingCobra's plan. He's got a defensive posture. He has that sentry that will definitely see pop the Guardian Shell if it comes to it. So I'm wondering now, like, if ForJumy doesn't kill him with this attack, then it makes me really nervous. Obviously, if he wins the game here, then that's the right move. But bleeding out these resources by making these constant attacks is kind of what led to that weird situation in game 2. So ForJumy's going to expand behind this, and I do like that a lot.
Yeah, but this is actually perfect for Yumi because KingCobra is still misreading this. He thinks that it's going to be Stalkers as a follow-up, a Phoenix Stalker, or maybe indeed one big attack of a lot of Phoenixes. So he's investing in a crazy amount of static defenses. He's pumping out an Immortal, while all that Yumi is doing is building more Phoenix. So he's going to get a much, much bigger lead. Now KingCobra gets a good scout of it, an hallucinated Phoenix, and he will realize that he has misread this game, and that pylon in the center of the map, that must have absolutely made him convinced that this was going to be Stalkers as a follow-up, or maybe even DTs, right? That's why we're getting a cannon as well. A couple cannons even everywhere. Instead, KingCobra now finds himself in, indeed, somewhat of a similar spot, but perhaps even worse, as he's down 3 Phoenixes, he's down a Stargate, and it's going to be all about SkyToss units once more. But hey, in that last game, it was also looking absolutely horrendous. Oh no, this is he needs to cancel that. Ooh, this is a mistake though. He's gonna lose a couple Phoenix here. He's gonna try to shibate Yumi into taking a bad fight, but Yumi wasn't born last night. He is not going to chase. He should definitely drop the units, and it's all about the Phoenix. Ignore the units on the ground. They don't matter. The only thing that matters here is the Phoenix number.
Yep. And well, you know, when you're behind on Phoenix, Roddy, I've learned the secret. You build a mothership and get +1 armor. And that's exactly what he's doing once again. So he's going to be like, good luck trying to dive my army until you have oracles and a whole lot of stuff to do that poke with. So I agree with you 100%. I feel like the Immortal is probably the biggest thing that showed that he believed it was going to be that ground-based attack and not having the extra Stargates earlier. But the biggest thing I want to see out of ForJumy, because this game is scaring me. I'm scared to make any predictions here. But ForJumy, if you can hear me through the endless rift of the void, get another Cyber Core and focus on your upgrades, because that was I feel like the secret sauce that made this defensive hold so strong for KingCobra last map.
KingCobra is probably the only player in the entire DreamHack Masters that will build this many static defenses. That is a perfect moment for the mothership to pop, but the Phoenix numbers are just so heavily in favor of Yumi that it doesn't matter. But he's probably the only player that will build extra cannons and batteries while being hard stuck on 2 bases. I like the point about the upgrades, Nate. Definitely very important since a lot of these units attack twice, but a lot more important for Yumi is this time around, don't go into carriers. Just go Tempest the first time around, man. If you go Tempest the first time around, you're going to be fine. As he feels that he can take out this mothership, and he will. That's such an amazing pickup because the mothership is ultra tanky. And these Phoenix numbers for Yumi are just overwhelming. The last 3 Phoenixes of KingCobra are ultra low in HP. Wow. He's just gunned down a mothership with Phoenix Stalker. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, really great grab. That, I mean, the +1 wasn't done yet, right? So it didn't quite have that full-fledged tankiness from the last game. And as you mentioned, a lot of Phoenix with range for ForJumy, and that's going to be it as he taps out. Had another mothership queued, but realized, okay, that means no third base ever again. So after an insane series,